All right, demo everybody, come on, let's all get together in the midsection for the demo about Spätzle. Remember we talked about German noodles. All right, thanks for all joining here. At this time we're doing Spätzle. You may or may not have heard about those. It's a German type pasta. It's a German type pasta which is, however, completely different than Italian pasta. As you may know, Italian pasta is made from a very firm, kneadable dough. Spätzle is made from a real thin batter, as you will see. We have eggs, they go right in here, and we have milk. Now it's important to understand that there's 25,000 different recipes for Spätzle. Every family has a different recipe here. Where I come from, we commonly make Spätzle using eggs only and no milk. Others say milk makes them more tender, others don't like it. So what we do is we mix the milk very well. We mix the milk and eggs very well, make sure it's a homogeneous mixture. And then the next thing what goes in there is salt. That'll help us to disperse the salt very evenly, and a dash of nutmeg. This all goes both together. Again, mix it well. Next thing what goes inside is the flour. Regular all-purpose flour is just fine. It goes inside. As you see, I'm changing tools now to a wooden spoon. And as you see, this batter, this Spätzle batter, is more beaten than kneaded. So we put it all together, leave some flour behind, and make sure we incorporate it well. And as you see, it's going to be a very loose batter. And you're going to beat this very, very heftily. And it's difficult to say how much flour one actually needs or how much eggs, because they all vary in size. So this time, I would say this batter is way too stiff. How do I know this? It's very difficult to work. And one sign of a ready-made Spätzle batter is that it makes bubbles. And you will see why just now. So a little bit more milk would certainly help. You see, Ben is kind of to give me some milk. Where would it be without him? Right? Just look half as good. Wonderful. Thank you so much. It could also be an egg if you like to. Milk is a little nicer by now because we can also give small amounts. A whole egg may just be too much. So add more milk. The dough becomes softer. And we have to beat them now. A Spätzle batter is really a nice thing to do when you're upset with somebody. It really helps to get rid of some excess energy. And keep on beating. Keep on beating. There you go. So my goal is now also to incorporate some air, and then you will see very soon what kind of bubbles I was talking about. Right, there's one. You see this here? It comes up and it pops very soon. And this shows us exactly that we're at the right stage. At this stage, the dough has developed enough protein, that it holds the air for a brief period of time, but it slowly disappears, and that shows that it gives us the right and properly textured Spätzle. So I can show this again. Let's beat them. There's one popped right there, another one came up here, and there's one coming up here very soon. So, and you want to have, at this stage, you can now of course let the batter rest for some time. That's fully okay. But before you want to shape it, you have to beat them one more time for the right degree of stiffness. What you're seeing here is a pot of boiling water and a Spätzle maker right on top. Classically, Spätzle are shaped of a wooden board in long, thin strips. This machine oven is a nice, interesting shortcut. What we'll do is we'll just pour the batter into this little cavity here, and then it's being pushed through this perforated metal sheet. And that results in little tadpole-like shaped noodles in the boiling water, as you'll see right now. So the batter goes right in here. You want to make sure that the water is rapidly boiling before you start adding anything in there. Hop. And shape back and forth. And as you see, the batter is pushed in thin strips into the batter, into the boiling water. Once everything is done, shake off the excess, put the whole thing over. Make sure everything comes back to a boil one more time. This one ensures that the whole Haus-Spatz is boiled properly. And then they will all be shocked in ice water. And this can be done actually a day ahead of time if you wish to. That's the cool thing about the Spätzle. You can do this in the morning and serve in the evening, it's just fine. They also freeze well actually after cooking. Okay, now we're here at service, and this time now it's time to serve the Spätzle. So what I'm doing here, I have some whole butter slowly melting in the pan. What I'm waiting for is, for the butter to brown, to come to what's called burn rosette stage. And this happens, you can actually see this, also smell this. When the bubbling starts to cease, and you detect a nutty flavor, that's when you add the Spätzle in there. We don't want to actually fry the Spätzle in really hot pan because we just make them tough. So we toss them in brown butter. So once you smell the nuttiness, and the bubbling gets less very slowly, I'm actually over a moderate heat, as you see, because I don't want to burn the butter. That's the risk you're running. And again, bubbling gets less. Now you want to be ready because it's from perfectly brown to burned within a couple of seconds. It goes pretty quick. So I have my Spätzle right here, and they go right into the hot brown butter. You basically toss them in this brown butter till they're nice and hot. Next thing is to season with some salt. And if you like, some pepper, nutmeg is fine too. Maybe even a little splash of herbs is fine. Chives, parsley are commonly done. Earlier today I had a question of one of you guys who didn't have a Spätzle maker, if there are other ways to make these things. Basically what you can do, you can use any perforated metal sheet and then with a spatula force the batter through there. But I have to say, you can buy house versions of my commercial Spätzle maker. Any kitchen store has is rather inexpensive. So, and they're really, if you like Spätzle, they're a cool thing to buy. If the Spätzle stick a little bit to the pan, use a heat-proof rubber spatula, loosen them up a little bit, and here we're good to go. All right, let's taste some Spätzle.